Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 22nd, and right now we are looking at the combination of Doppler radar, so you can see a nice persistent rain falling across eastern Washington, including the dust devil capital of the world, Ritzville, Washington here. It might put a hold on the dust devils for the rest of the year, but we do have this nice rainfall occurring out there, maybe some embedded thunderstorms, especially across some of the higher terrain here. There is some flooding potential with some of this as well as it continues to train over the same area. Some stronger storms may develop across eastern Oregon and Idaho, on into Montana and Wyoming today as well. But look off the coastline here. We do have some showers that may start to impact western Washington here. Cross your fingers if you are across the area here, and you might get a little bit of measurable precip out of this. Getting a little bit excited for that. Some of the European models kind of highlighting the central Puget Sound and getting some measurable precip here as well. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. Looking at the mid-level water vapor loop, you can see the system kind of rolling in here. That nice steady precipitation occurring there, and we're going to continue with some troughing off the coastline as we go through the week coming up here. Some interesting weather could be getting all the way west of the Cascades as well. Some thunderstorms could potentially be moving across the area. We'll look at those details in a moment. This is looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the smoke across the Cascades, up across British Columbia, just never ending. But we've cleared out across some of the BC southwest area, western Washington, down through western Oregon. Some areas have cleared some of that smoke out here, at least for a couple of days. But we also have the potential to turn this flow back offshore as we get through Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll look at those details as well. And of course, when you turn things offshore, you're going to introduce all that smoke across BC, Washington, and eastern Oregon back into the region. More on that here in a moment. Looking at SeaTac yesterday, 75 degrees, not a bad afternoon out there yesterday. Lots of sunshine. 77 is the average for this time of year. And cross your fingers. Maybe we can get some measurable precipitation as we roll through the day today, tonight, and on in through tomorrow morning. I'm hoping for that. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station to record all that weather for you, click on the link down below for 10% off. The station stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommended. This is looking at the HER. So this goes out 48 hours, the 12Z run. This is 8 meters above the ground. You can see the smoke, a lot of it across British Columbia. The Cascades pushing off to the east a bit here. Still dealing with that smoke across Spokane, some of the Idaho Panhandle, Central Oregon Cascades, Southern Oregon there as well. And watch what happens at the very end of the run here. You'll notice that onshore flow kind of come to an end by the time you get towards Thursday morning. We're going to start kicking things back offshore again here, which is going to introduce a lot of smoke to a lot of the region here. We'll be watching this as we go through the next couple of days, of course. Air quality index right now, you can see it is still degraded quite a bit here across Washington, Central Oregon, Southern Oregon there. But the Puget Sound, Southwest BC, Willamette Valley, doing much better than they were a couple days ago at least. And British Columbia just continues to live in the smoke up there. Feel for you guys up there. Hopefully we can kick this out at some point here into the future and get these fires extinguished. Not sure what much else to say about that. It's just a horrible situation up there. A couple days ago, you could see that spike on Sunday here at my home, and we've improved quite a bit yesterday and a lot today. A lot better air quality out there across a lot of the Puget Sound today, but that could be changing here. And this is looking at the rest of August. Here you can see the increased fire potential here and for Hawaii also. And this has kind of been the case for the last few months. I think this did a pretty good job here of predicting the above normal season for a lot of the area here. It hasn't been exceptionally bad across Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, a totally different story though. And this potential exists on in through September and even October, kind of showing up here for western portions here. And of course, a lot of these fires are human caused, so just don't let your guard down. This is looking at the potential for some urban flooding, burn scar flooding out here, some wind gusts, some lightning out there with some of these storms moving across the area. But yeah, definitely the rainfall is needed across the region. Hopefully it's helping out. This was issued yesterday afternoon by National Weather Service Spokane. Now let's take a quick look at the offshore winds coming up here before we look at the thunderstorm potential making it west of the Cascades. As you can see, we've got some onshore flow going all the way on through tomorrow, and then you can see the offshore flow start to emerge here as we go through Thursday morning. That is not good news, and it really picks up here. It looks like Thursday night into Friday. It's purely offshore east coming through the gorge there, some of the mountain gaps, and the Fraser River Valley up here as well. You can see it offshore through eastern Washington. So this could potentially introduce some large amounts of smoke back into areas west of the Cascades. But if you look out here, you can kind of see a trough that's setting up off the coastline as well, which could bring some precipitation west of the Cascades. We'll take a look at that starting now. Here's the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, 18,000 feet. Here goes our trough right now, bringing our rainfall. Could bring some precipitation west of Cascades even today. Trough moves through. Another trough sets up out here. It's going to start with this offshore flow in advance of it. But look at this. We've got some diffluent flow aloft. And when you have confluence aloft, you tend to get convergence closer to the surface, which could bring some thunderstorms back up over the region. Pretty good model agreement here with the GFS having the storm system out here as well, and that southerly flow, which could bring some thunderstorms up the Cascades and potentially even across western Washington, Vancouver Island, western Oregon here. And you kind of see it lives out there for a bit, just kind of spinning. That's when the European ends, and the GFS continues to show the system on through its extended forecast. Also, we'll be watching this one closely coming up. This is looking at 6-hour precipitation type. So you can see as you go through the day today, that persistent rainfall moving off to the east slowly. Some strong thunderstorms across Idaho, eastern Oregon, Montana, and Wyoming today as well. Look at the European kind of showing some measurable precip across western portions of western Washington here and up into BC, kind of some wraparound moisture there as well. And then we look out to the extended a little bit more. So this feature drops down the coastline. You can kind of see both the GFS and the European bringing moisture up from the south. This would be in the form of some thunderstorm activity here. Maybe get some rare thunderstorms up towards Seattle and southwest BC here as we go towards the end of the week. We'll be watching that one closely. Still kind of fantasy right now. These situations are quite fickle here. And you know how thunderstorms, how tough they can be to get west of the Cascades. This is looking at lightning flash density potential in the European. So you scroll through the day today, you can see some of that activity across Idaho, Oregon, maybe up through British Columbia as well as this low swings through the area. Then we turn our eyes to the trough focus forming off the coastline here, and it starts to bring some activity up the Oregon Cascades. By the time you get towards Thursday afternoon and evening, then we start to go into Friday morning. Look at it moving up the coast here into the Cascades. It could include western Washington, western Oregon here as well Friday afternoon. So we'll be watching this one closely here. There's still a lot of details to work out as we get closer to this potential thunderstorm event. This is looking at today. You can see mainly eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, some stronger storms across some of Utah into Wyoming there as well. But some of these storms across Idaho today could be quite strong as well as on into Oregon and Montana as well. And this would be day 2. And day 3, check it out. They picked up on a little bit of this activity moving up out of the south across the Oregon Cascades, which eventually would include western Washington as well. So definitely something to watch. Starting to get a little bit excited about that here, but tomorrow will give us a much better picture on what's to come. This is the NAM 3CAM, the North American model. There goes our system currently across the area. Does it show the trough? It does, and it shows that feature kind of moving up here as you go through the day Friday as well. So something definitely to watch here, especially as we go on in through tomorrow. This is the European last night. This is 24-hour running total precipitation. Look at some of these big amounts across the Blue Mountains, up into BC here. Hopefully it's helping out with the fire activity there. And you can see that system move out. And check out the next one coming, the European showing that precipitation moving up out of the south, which would be some thunderstorms here. More on that tomorrow. This is looking at the NAM 3KM today. So as you look through the afternoon hours, you can see some of these storms popping up across eastern Oregon, Idaho here as this system continues on across the region. And look at some of these showers trying to get in here to western Washington. Cross your fingers here. Maybe we can get some measurable precipitation out of this as we go through tonight on into tomorrow morning. Kind of see the system still swinging through there. At the very end of the run, you can see that next trough setting up shop out here. But the NAM 3KM only goes out 60 hours. Here's the NAM 12KM that goes out 84 hours. So what we're going to focus on here is that next system. There goes the trough. And check it out as we go through Friday. It shows some of that instability building west of the mountains here. So cross your fingers for that, thunderstorm lovers. This is day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. And by tomorrow, you can see really not much of a threat here across the region. And, you know, we'll watch that over the next few days to see if anything gets introduced with that next system moving in. Here's the 6 to 10 day through August 31st here, above average. But again, that trough and the cloud cover is going to be a big factor in just how warm we get across the region. And we do have that above average signal here across a lot of the Pacific Northwest as well, all the way through the end of August with the troughing continuing offshore. And here's a nice graphic of all the fires that are going on, mainly the North Cascades, Eastern Washington, Central Oregon Cascades, and Southern Oregon Cascades. And a lot of BC is just plainly on fire. Not much else, not many other ways to describe it there. And you can see here on the interactive map, and a lot of these areas are so remote and the terrain's so rugged, it's very difficult to fight these fires, so they're just left with letting them burn. I mean, there's not much recourse here, and you kind of have to ask yourself, would I put my 25-year-old son out here on one of these ridge lines to go and fight these erratic, dangerous fires here? Forest fires are killed in the line of work all the time here, folks. Extremely dangerous job, and it's tough. It takes a huge undertaking just to fight one of these fires, and there's many of them all over the provinces out there. So it's a very difficult situation for them across Canada. So, yeah, they've been just kind of living in the smoke. But anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. Yeah, just kind of trying to describe on what's going on across Canada out there. Go ahead and read some of the news articles and just exactly what is going on. These hectares out there. This is 100 by 100 meters is a hectare. And you can see there's almost 14 million of them that have been on fire this year. And the 10-year average is about 2.3 million here. So well above the average, almost, 6 or 7 times. So, but yeah. Percentage of normal, about 600%, so about 6 times normal. So anyway, yeah, interesting stuff there across British Columbia. Hopefully that starts coming to an end here over the next month or so. But anyway, yeah, we'll watch that system roll in here through the next few days. Cross your fingers for some precipitation chances here west of the Cascades. Hopefully this precip is helping more than the lightning is kicking off any more fires here. But anyway, yeah, click like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. We'll check everything out again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.